Our protagonist Peng Su had lived tens of thousands of years in virtual worlds and was now 880 years old. He and his wife were strolling through the mountains when they ran into some young men washing coal to sell. Peng Su exclaimed that he had never seen coal being washed before and suggested they go home. The young men smirked, knowing that Peng Su had admitted to living almost 1,000 years and quickly activated a powerful aura, but Peng Su didn't flinch and instead summoned a horde of monsters to send them flying. What he didn't expect was for his wife Kyo Nyang to betray him, revealing his real name, Sun Rang. She threatened to eliminate him in real life if he didn't obey her. Taking advantage of the distraction, the young men finish off Sun Rang's user. We then see Sun Rang disconnect from the game, explaining that in real life he is a nobody with a heart disease that could take him at any time. In this world, there are 30 billion humans living scattered through the solar system, thanks to a federation, but the population is still too large for the solar system, so virtual worlds were created to allow most humanity to enter and live new lives, away from the harshness of the real world. Our protagonist was one of that many people waiting to enter these new worlds. The first was of Earth, where Sun Rang used his video game experience to find a divine artifact, the rare jade butterfly of creation. With it, he was able to reach a higher level and become the administrator, giving him the authority to remove the restrictions of the world and become the creator above all rulers of the game. That's why he was known as the strongest cheat user. Thanks to his power, he lived for hundreds of years in the virtual world, where time flows differently. When analyzing how he was discovered after so long, Peng Su realizes that it happened on his wedding night, when he suffered a heart attack and didn't have time to delete the information from his connection. At that time, he received a mail about the punishments that would be given for having altered the balance of the game. He had to pay an exaggerated sum of money and would be monitored by a powerful artificial intelligence of the Central. With no other option and a large theft on top of it, he ran and went to the top of the building. Luckily, he was stopped by a very pretty red-headed girl. It turns out to be his first wife in the virtual world. She tells him to go to the hospital in his car, as they will make a heart transplant. On the way, Peng Su asks the girl why she would give him a new heart. She replies that she doesn't want to waste her talent, as not everyone can stay hidden in a game for so long. The girl introduces herself as Lan Xin, an executioner. She's part of a team tasked with taking down the cheaters in the game, so they need Sun Rang as an assistant. Without hesitation, Peng Su agrees, and while the heart transplant is underway, he doesn't mention the 3 levels of the Heart Alliance: Zenith, a place of natural beauty, where only 10 million people can live; the Garden, an artificial landscape for the middle class; and the Common Ground, a murky, narrow-stepped area where Lan Xin resides. And now the protagonist too. The girl has a sensory share, an artifact used to enter the virtual worlds. After logging in, Sun Rang finds himself in front of a huge Rubik's Cube-shaped building, the headquarters of the Executioning Alliance, responsible for maintaining the balance in each virtual world. Lan Xin introduces Peng Su to his new teammates, Kir, codenamed Purple Rose, and Chuan Chuan, codenamed White Rose. The redhead explains that the protagonist is an apprentice executioner and must accumulate points to level up and go on missions with the girls. His first mission is to deliver a package in a virtual world called Dragon Age, but it's full of problems. Monsters have appeared everywhere, and one player has control of the strongest creatures, the giant divine dragon, so they hire a bronze level enforcer to take him down, and the protagonist has to help. Before he can, he has to sign a contract where Lan Xin will receive most of the money from his missions. Peng Su doesn't hesitate, and after he leaves, Kir asks Sun Rang is reliable. Xuan reassures her that he's very reliable. They've known him for a long time. Back to reality, we see our protagonist standing in front of Lan Xin. Despite the fact that it would have been easy to escape, he decides to stay and show his gratitude for the girl who spent her savings to give him a new heart. So they get to work and connect to Dragon Age. When he opens his eyes, the young man realizes that his connection was interrupted by the Earth Artificial Intelligence, which is in charge of monitoring the virtual world. He also mentions that when Peng Su discovered the tricks of the OL, he created several powerful disciplines who ignore the rules of the game and live eternally. With the passage of time, conflicts have arisen between these subjects to the point that they could destroy the virtual world. This would cause a great uproar in the real world, as the game has billions of users. Therefore, the protagonist has two options: to be destroyed by the artificial intelligence or help her finish with these disciples and cancel his debt to the girl. However, Peng Su no longer has the powers he had before, so he must first ascend to the gold level and then enter the land of OL. For that, he needs the help of the artificial intelligence, which gladly accepts, but will limit the trapped user. Now, he has a year to become stronger. Sun Ran was about to enter Dragon Age at level 1 with a character that seemed to be in the worst possible situation. He was about to be attacked by a tiger. It was all a test to check Sun Ran's ability. If he lost, he would probably be fired. At the same time, a team of 400 people was supervising the situation. Sun Ran analyzed the situation and remembered he could use magic, so he prepared a trap where the tiger fell and ended up frozen. This surprised the supervisors, who couldn't believe the guy used a spell that would have been very demanding for its user. The test ended with Sun Ran and two other finalists. One of them, Ron, was able to turn into a werewolf, and the other, Jasmine, had illusion abilities. Later, Sun Ran got more information about Dragon Age, a small virtual world of more than 1,000 kilometers in circumference, delimited by unescapable mountains, with a lot of monsters that not many players could face, plus 3 dragons that players had to defeat. Unfortunately, the destroyers had taken control of the dragons and were using them to destroy the place. So, Sun Ran had to defeat them with the bronze executioner, Charlie. To do so, he had to go to the Cloud City, but he realized that he is being followed, so he warned the supervisors. Things were looking grim when they discovered the Cloud City was under attack by a dragon. The destroyers were aware of the situation, so they attempted to take out the bronze executioner. Fortunately, he was able to react quickly and hide in a safe place while the dragon wreaked havoc. The supervisors acted fast, preparing the divine punishment, a kind of lightning that could kill the dragon and anything else in its path. Before the punishment could be unleashed, the executioner took advantage of the dragon's distraction and eliminated it. But the supervisors were faced with another problem. The apprentice and executioner, including Peng Su, were being pursued. The werewolf was taken out, but the illusionist managed to escape with his powers. Sun, the pro, decided to face the enemy, a summoner who mocked the young man for his low level of ice magic. He ended up sending an army of skeletons, but the protagonist used his ice magic to create a flurry of attacks that quickly defeated an angry army. The destroyer summoned another monster, a level 2 giant. The protagonist managed to dodge it, but his level didn't help him much. Luckily, the supervisor decided to pass him to level 2, and before they knew it, he had already managed to exceed his limits by making very complex spells. Thanks to that, he ends up freezing the giant and defeats his enemy. In the control room, all celebrate the victory, and the person in charge of the place mentions that the young man has all the skills to make a great ice wizard. After vanquishing his foe, the protagonist checked his items and found a level 2 magic staff. With it, he could cast spells without taking too much damage, but he still couldn't use it since he was only level 1. Fortunately, the supervisors gave him the level he was missing, plus some money, and activated an evaluation system that only official executors have access to. Thanks to that, he could increase the number of rewards he had received. Peng Su noticed her with her golden gaze, an ability that allows her to see through illusions, and then the real Jasmine appeared. She told Charlie that he was too skilled to leave a trail, and with not much else to do, they both went to a restaurant. Jasmine was concerned about hanging out in public places. When the food arrives, Sun Ran gets flirty with the waitress and tips her with Jasmine's money, only to discover that the food was poisoned. Just then, a hooded man appears and introduces himself as Charlie. The girl is skeptical, but the protagonist confirms that he is the real one after analyzing his behavior. We also learn that the executioner was the one who put the poison as a kind of test. Once reunited, Charlie mentions that he faced a very problematic destroyer belonging to a group of notorious mercenaries who are focused on causing imbalances in the game and won't stop until they defeat their opponents. Not to mention, one of the leaders dominates the Dragon King, which can change its shape and remain undetected while searching for the Ring of Divine Commandment, an item capable of ending the Dragon Age in an instant. The group must either eliminate the Dragon King with the Divine Punishment, which is difficult to use among a few people, or look for the ring that can destroy the dragon. Luckily, the protagonist is very skilled with these kind of things, so they rely on the legends of the game to find some clues, mainly those that speak of magic. They realize that on top of the mountain, there is a wizard academy that has a staff of Shure capable of casting level 4 spells, which could be of help to them. However, getting to the academy is too difficult. Sun Ran suggests that they possess bodies close to the area, as game companies are always looking for players who have finished their playing time for the executors to use their bodies. Our heroes had to make a self-motion to be transported to the new bodies, and the protagonist realized that the creator of the ring was near the mountain, and that the artifact was divided into 4 parts, one of which was in the staff of Shure. Unfortunately, the destroyers also knew this and appeared in the form of a dragon roaring and creating an avalanche that trapped our heroes. The supervisors prepared the divine punishment and prayed that the ring fragment would not be found in the academy. Peng Su managed to survive the avalanche with a sphere of ice, but his companions were still trapped in the snow. Sun Ran decides to distract the dragon before it found his companions, and the dragon retaliated with a great ball of fire. The supervisors were told to revive his companions while Sun Ran prepared his final attack. Jasmine created some clones to help Charlie get his sword, and Sun Ran launched his final attack as a distraction. Charlie managed to obtain his sword and began the true combat. Helped by Jasmine's illusion, several clones of Charlie attacked the dragon from the back with the rune of Frost. Charlie seized the opportunity to deliver the final blow and vanquish the enemy. The team erupted in celebration as Aiken, the Archmage of the Magic Academy, was visited by the emissary of the Supreme God Shure. The emissary informed them that the Divine Dragon King had betrayed his Supreme God, and that they would soon be attacked. Aiken's disciples were understandably frightened, and the dragon was the most powerful being in the game. Aiken reassured them, however, that soon warriors would come to the outskirts of the academy to defeat the dragon. Sure enough, the dragon made an appearance and with a single attack broke through the barrier protection of the academy. Aiken stepped out to face him, and the dragon transformed into a god of battle, Dark Phylon. He proceeded to eliminate almost all the mages, prompting some to retreat back into the academy. Aiken and his disciples cast a level 3 defense spells, capable of withstanding a level 4 onslaught. The dragon scoffed at the spell and with one attack shattered it. Just in time, our heroes descend from the sky. Sun Ran warned Charlie that Dark Phylon's armor was level 4, making it difficult to defeat him in his current condition. Charlie's only option was to make the dragon leave the academy and eliminate him with divine punishment. Charlie activated his golden armor ability at level 3, boosting his abilities and making him look cool. The battle began with everyone working as a team, including the Archmage. Charlie tried to use this to his advantage to get closer to the dragon, but the dragon wouldn't allow it. Suddenly, one of Aiken's disciples stabbed him, revealing himself to be an undercover agent of Dark Phylon. Furious, the Archmage launched a powerful attack. At the end of the battle, Charlie managed to get close to the villain and break his sword, eliminating him. With no one to stop him, Dark Phylon went for Shure's baculum, but Charlie had beaten him into it, initiating another battle. And there you have it, that was the overview of today's event. I'll bring you the rest of the chapters in the next week.